now we need to create the master sections over here to make sure the interface how it does the interface will be. So for that we need to add one sketch with respect to the point and plane, and we need to make sure we'll add somewhere at a center. Okay, so we're going to be add the master section so that we can name as a section. So here will be that A pillar lower to B pillar lower. Okay, so in that we need to add input. So input will be the point and plane. So with respect to that we can move anywhere this required master section. Okay, so we'll add that input. In input we're going to have the curve. So we'll select this curve. This on this curve we're going to be have the point. So we'll point will be moved, our master section will be moved. Okay, so either we're going to be have this condition. Okay, so with respect you can control at a point with the distance you can control, or you're going to be have the plane which will be at somewhere distance in y. Okay, so we'll have the x z plane, offset plane to the x and z. Okay, so we'll add somewhere here right now. You can double click, you can just make it as a any coordinate. So you can just isolate this point, double click, coordinate. You can maintain this y value as over here is 30. Okay, so y 30 you're going to be get this plane. Okay, so now if you just check the coordinate of this particular point or the section, so you can mention at y30 we have taken the master section. Okay, so the master section we have taken. Now if we just take the intersection of the point on this curve and this plane. Okay, so first of all we have created a point that will be in the y30, and with respect to that we're going to be created a plane on that point with respect to x and z parallel. With this curve we have taken the intersection, so this will be our input point. Okay, so what we have created, this is nothing but the construction work we required. Okay, so to this point we have now this plane, and to that plane we need to create a master section. Okay, so through master section we need to add another geometrical set, that will be the work. In that work we need to add sketch. Sketch will be position sketch. We need to select this plane, then select projection points over here, then horizontal axis and vertical axis as per requirement we can take and consider something like this. Now whatever we have the class A, of that we can take an intersect. So something like this we can take 3D intersect, where exactly it's going to be meet. This will be our class A. Okay, so class A curve of A pillar. So here we can mention that A pillar master section. Okay, so this we need to convert into the thickness and all that we're going to be create. Okay, so first of all we'll create this same for B pillar as well. So we'll add one sketch that will be plane, then we need to have the projection point, then we need to go for implementation. The horizontal vertical axis should be something like vertical horizontal, so sketch will be in front of us, something like this. Again we can take the direct intersect with the B pillar somewhere with this intersection point. Okay, 3D element intersection we can take, so this point we can get. Okay, so whatever we have the interface, so interface we need to draw a master section from the benchmarking. Okay, so what we have right now, there will be something like this join return flange will there for A pillar lower. There will be another part we're going to be has a B pillar, so return flange will be something the B pillar will going to be have something like this as a part. Okay, section will be move something like this, and for A pillar lower it will be move something like this. Okay, so this will be A pillar lower and this will be B pillar lower. Okay, so this is how we're going to be create this intersection. okay, interface. For that we can call as a master section. So this information we are giving at what exactly, what will be the gap condition, flush condition in this particular section. So master section we are considering right now is just for the gap and flush and showing the interface how it's going to be look like. So this we can name as a pillar lower. Same we will have for the B pillar lower. We'll add that B pillar lower. And now in A pillar lower, we're going to be clear this information. So if we require, we can hide that. So there will be offset of this. Okay. So before that, we need to create the another geometry like return flange. So we don't know what exactly the gap we're going to be have. So what we can do, we'll consider a line from this point. Okay. So consider this will be point we're going to be have for the A pillar. So with respect to this, we need to have some tooling line. So we'll draw a tooling line somewhere here. So this will be the tooling line for A pillar. With respect to that, we need to have 3-degree draft. Okay. So we'll select this edge. We'll select this line. We'll give 3-degree draft as this is a class A surface is going to be created. Okay. So this flange, whatever we are creating, it's going to be have 3-degree draft. Similar to that, this part is going to be have the offset of 2.5. Okay. So this curve will have 2.5 offset. After that, we need to have the 0.5 mm clearance, and then we're going to be have this class. So what we can do, we're going to be extract this line in our section. We'll make this as construction line from this sketcher toolbar. We'll create as a construction. We need to have the offset of that 2.5 plus 0.5. So if we consider 2.5 minus 2.5, to that we need to again offset with 0.5. Okay, so something like this you can directly create 3 mm from the base one. There will be no error. Okay, so this will be one surface, this will be one surface we're going to be have. So we need to control this length. Okay, for how much length we need to have that. So that length we can control from here by adding point. Okay, so this is going to be have some distance from the point horizontal. We require this for the 30 mm, and we will split trim this line till this. Okay, so same way we'll make this as a non-construction. So this will be there. We need to again trim this line. Then we need to trim this to this. Okay, so we need to add a fillet over here. So there will be, this will becomes in a class A. So we need to add 1.5 something like fillet, because if you add more 1.5, if you add more, there will be more visible gap we're going to be in between these two parts. Okay, so we'll add 1.4 as there is no head impact or something like that. So 1 to 1.4 is enough. Okay, then again in this area also we're going to have the fillet. So this we can add 0.5 as this is an internal fillet we have. Okay, we can add this as a 0.5. Now you have the two options, either this sketch you can going to have the separately, or over here you can select and have the offset. Okay, so many people are going to be working separately. So sometime we need to have this sketch same in one section, or sometime all B pillar, A pillar, all the section will be drawn in this sketch only. Okay, so right now what we are seeing, we are going to be create A pillar lower as a separate sketch, B pillar lower as a separate sketch. Okay, so what we do now, we can going to be select this auto select. So in auto run, every part is whatever the lines we have that is selected. Then we need to go for offset of 2.5. Okay, auto select, then go for offset, auto select, go for offset. in the offset in one side. Okay, so we need to select this offset separately, as this is not going to be get tangent propagation get selected. So we can select this tangent propagation and select over here for offset. Of 2.5 as a part thickness we're going to be here. Enter. So this is how it's going to be create the part thickness. Okay, once it create, okay, so we need to have the distance over here for that. Then we can have vertical or B side surface with 0.5, as we're going to be keep this is parting line. So we're going to be a 0.5 with respect to this pulling line. We need to create. We'll trim this surface over here. So if you're taken in separate sketch, and again you can recall that it will be directly have the offset and all the sketch will be there. Add the tangent continuity. So this to this also we need to have tangent continuity. We'll add that offset value from this to this. Then again offset value from this to this. This to this we need to have again tangent. Then this value we need to have tangent. We'll add the values over here. Then with this we're going to be add again. So we here flat portion. So as this going to move into the classes side. Okay, we'll take the stream. We'll make some here trim, and to that we're going to be add the values. Okay, so this is how we're going to be get this master section value. So this we can have a one color and the thickness going to be add. So similar way we're going to be on B side, B pillar lower, we need to add the master section. Okay, so in this case what we're going to be add, same way we're going to double click, have this parallel of 2.5, so we'll add that 2.5 mm thickness. Now we need to maintain the gap in this two. Okay, so how much gap we want, so that we can just offset from here with that. So you can just extract the surface, so that already have some linked with this part. So what we can create from this point, we have this line as 3 degree. We'll create that. With axis we need to add tooling line. So this with tooling line we need to have this angle as 3 degree. This line we consider as a construction line. We'll offset this line whatever the gap we require. So we require 1.5 mm gap or 1 mm gap that we can take, and from this point, okay, so we'll take this as an intersection. From this point to this point we'll take an intersection point. And from this point we need to add one line from here. Select that this 3 degree. This also need to be removed in 3 degree in top side. Okay, so this will be the 3 degree we're going to be have. So now we can trim this two with this surface. Trim with this to this. Again we need to trim this to this. We'll add fillet 1.5 mm in this area. Okay, so this is how the interface will be get created. Now we will have the touching rib over here, okay, at some distance equivalent area. So that touching rib we need to add with 0.5. Root thickness we need to maintain 1. Okay, so the distance between these two ribs we're going to be create as a 1. This 2 has to be a draft of 0.5 the tooling line. Same way this line also going to be have the draft of 0.5. And we'll have the offset of this line of 0.5. That we're going to be used to trim this. We'll break this line with this. We'll trim this line from here to here. Okay, and how much length we require? We will require the 2 ribs. We'll try to make this distance as 10. Okay, we have 30 mm this overlap, so we'll have at somewhere like 7.5. So another will be from here 7.5. It's the same way. We're going to be at another line construction over here. From this point to this point we need to have distance 1. We need to have draft of this 0.5. Then again we'll add the value of this 0.5. Then we'll try to trim this. Then again we're going to be have the distance from this to this 7.5. This will add. Again we'll try to break this area. Okay, so this will break with this. We will break this like this, or we can just directly remove this in between area. Okay, something like this we're going to be other part. So now I can find this will be the B pillar lower we have. We're going to be add the thickness and some highlighted color. Okay, so now I can show this dimension over here, how much gap we have and the flush we have. Okay, so this we have A pillar lower, this we have B pillar lower. If you want to highlight this section, okay, if you want to highlight this section, so it's going to be highlight. So we'll check that. So what is the reference we have selected that is wrongly, so that we can just replace the interface. Okay, so what we can do now, so this section we need to rename, or we need to add the annotation, so that we can add first. So we'll get this functional tolerance annotation set. Okay, so this is going to be add call from somewhere here. Okay, so functional tolerance and annotation. So with respect to that, you can add these values. So for that, you need to create a plane. So you will create the plane on this plane, which you already have. Create a plane on this. Then you're going to be show the dimension. We require the gap for this. Go for the minimum distance. So minimum distance of 1.5 mm we can keep, and whatever the tolerance we have, so that we can add plus or minus 0.5. Okay, so this we can show, as well as we can add the annotations of gap. Okay, so this is the gap value we have, 1.5 plus or minus 0.5. Then we're going to have the flush value, so that also we need to show on this to this edge, minimum distance. So it will show something like this. So we need to draw some lines, some construction work. With respect to that, we need to create. So we'll have this extract. So we need to perform some geometry. So that added this extracted line. So with this point, we are going to be show the dimension from this to this line. Show this dimension as flush value, 0 mm flush with 0.3 mm value, 0.3. So this value you will get from the tolerance stack up. Okay, so here you need to have like only 0.1 or 0. So we have this deviation as we are having this on curve, that you can add the point on this particular curve anywhere, and with that you're going to be reroute this dimension at this point. Okay, I need to mention this as a flush value, so you may bend these values, something like this. You can add the value. property, we need to add this flush. So this is a zero flush condition we have. So this is how the master section we're going to be add. You can show to like how we're going to be create this master section. Okay, so this is nothing but the master section we're going to be show like gap and flush values. What are we going to be have?
Sir, we created master section only for gap and flush, or there is any other
No,
purpose
there are the
for?
many purposes are there. So this
Okay.
is just interfaces to be considered or concept fixing consideration, or we need to check a space claim for that area. So there are the many purposes we're going to be show the master section, but typically right now what we have created is nothing but the gap and flush value and interface. Okay, so what we have the interface, there will be a touching condition we have, or there might be a fixation we're going to be have. Okay, so that totally depend upon the benchmarking what we are doing. So something like this also the case, there will be the doghouse. This doghouse is going to be have the clip tower. Okay, and they're going to fix into the BIW. So in that case, there will be a cutout over here in this part. So this is a fixation we are showing. Okay, so the different type of master section you need to create. One will be concept section, one will be something like this for gap and flush values. Okay, some might be the proposal space claim. So these are nothing but the master section we're going to be create to make sure it will be create the clear the idea without drawing or without creating the 3D part. Okay, something like this, anyone can read this section and come to know, yeah, this is like A pillar lower going to be have the flange, and there will be B pillar going to be get rest with the 0.2 touching like revolve there. Okay, so you can show this dimension as well. This is a 0.5 clearance value, so this we can add in the reference. Okay, that's just for the reference. Clear? Any doubt?